Hello guys, welcome to our channel, and today we'll be creating particle advection simulation using Blender. Alright, so here we are in Blender and we will go with the default setting. Here I will hide the camera and we'll name our cube as domain. Now we will scale our cube in SZ 1.2 and scale by with 1.2. Now we will move up a little in Z-axis with 1/2. Alright, so now we go into physics property and add fluid and add domain. So about resolution. So here in Blender, the more the resolution, the smoother will be your simulation. So I'll go with 100 because this my system can handle it. Please select a number which your system can handle it and make sure this use adaptive time steps has been ticked. We'll go down. Now in gas settings, the density will be 0.5 and the heat will be 0.5 as well. Our vorticity will be 0.25. Now we're going to dissolve and our timestamp will be 15. So our simulation won't look like cloud. Make sure the slow is been ticked. Now we select noise and we'll set our upres to 3. You can set it to 4 and 5 as well based on your system. And now the strength will set to 0. Moving down, make sure to have this on replay until you get your desired simulation results. Timescale will keep it 0.5. Alright, so now we'll bring our flow. So we'll add a cylinder, scale it down. And we scale a little more. And we'll now just move up a little by 2 steps. Alright, so now we'll go into the physics property and add fluid to it. The type will be flow. Make sure the flow type is set to be inflow. We'll tick the initial velocity. And we'll set the initial temperature to 0.5. Alright, so now we'll keep keyframes to use flow, so our simulation will just appear and disappear. At frame 60, we'll add a keyframe, and at frame 61, will disappear. Now we'll move forward to frame 120, we'll add a keyframe, and then move 1 frame ahead and add keyframe to use flow. Again, we'll move to frame 180 and add a keyframe. Now we'll move 1 frame ahead and disable the use flow and add a keyframe. So now I'm fixed with my position, so I'll go with my type as all. And now I'll bake the animation. Alright, so I just finished with my bake, and this is our smoke simulation. Pretty smooth. Now what we'll do is add particle system to the cylinder. So we'll select the cylinder and go into the particle settings and add a particle system. We'll set the type to emitter. And now we'll set the number to 1 lakh. You can choose your desired number based on your system, but make sure to keep it between 80,000 to 2 lakh. We'll set the end to 250 frames. Lifetime will be set to 50, but life randomness will be 0.9. Okay, moving down. Velocity will keep it to 0. And will render as object. Bring down the gravity to 0. And we'll adjust the scale. by 0.002 and we'll have a scale randomness by 0.9. Alright, so now everything's been set. We'll add a object which is icosphere. We'll set the subdivisions to 1 so it won't be heavy. We'll move down. Now we'll select the cylinder and choose the object as our icosphere. Now I'll see nothing is happening. The particles are not following the smoke. So what we'll do is we'll add force field and add fluid flow. Now if you play, still nothing happens because we haven't given the specific address to our force field, sorry. Now I'll set the domain object as our domain. And we'll set the strength to 11 and flow to 1.8. Please note that I am quite specific with my values because I have had multiple trial and errors. But you can experiment with your values and try something different. So the particles are now following the smoke. Alright, pretty good. Now we'll hide the domain. So our simulation will be quite smoother and it won't be heavy for our scene. Yeah, there you go. So now we are done with the simulation part. Now we'll bake it. So my bake's done. I'll select the icosphere and add a material to it. Go into the material section, add a new material. We'll set the name to emission and we'll select the surface to emission as well. A slight blue tint and we'll set the strength to 5. Well, these are my render settings. Please make sure to tick all this. Alright, so now I'll break down how I created this scene. This is just a simple scene with the which I got from Sketchfab. I'll go into material preview so you can see the materials. It's just a simple scene which looks perfect. And this is the pot I created using Blender and added some textures using Photoshop. That's my inflow and there's my hand and some magical stuff which I added in that pot. Grass I made using particle system as hair. Just add a texture to it and the particle will take over the texture which has been applied. Then I added some low poly trees and leaves. Now if I go into the camera view, you'll see the rendered mode. I use this HDR I call Full Moon HDR. I'll link down in the description to use it. Then I'll turn on the lights. First I added just a sunlight to the scene. And then I added a point light to make it look more magical. Alright, so this is our scene and this is how I created Particle Advection. You can try and experiment your own stuff and come up with various ideas. And please like and share our video and see you in the next video. Thank you.